Hello, it's a dark episode for November the 28th, 2022. Jay here. I was listening to Mark Maron talking to a fellow Jewish fellow, Jewish fellow, and I was thinking about the fact that, you know, they have very much a strong cultural identity, and they probably have that strong cultural identity because they are a small, I mean, obviously Jewish people have a long, strong history, but that it's probably acute because there are so many racist, anti-Semitic assholes trying to get them. And they're always being made aware of that, and always being aware of it could be happening. And I think about that because I'm not in that situation. I'm very much, well, basically the racist, anti-Semitic assholes come out of my demographic of Anglo, Protestant, Catholic dudes who have had a long history of persecuting people like that. Now, I'm not saying like particularly my family or anything like that, but it's like I take my cultural background pretty much for granted. It's just sort of something that's there, and it is. I wear my robe lightly because it's a robe of power and privilege, and so you don't feel that. It rests very lightly on my shoulders, versus if you're whacking somebody who has some kind of history or identity that way, they feel it. It bites. And I mean, it pinches. It can be. They can be made to feel uncomfortable in it, whereas um, I don't get to be made to be feel uncomfortable unless I actually kind of listen to voices, like in Canada, listening to people talking about settler culture, which is what I'm a part of. And I think there's a lot of people who probably even object to being called settlers. It's like, no, we're Canadians. It's like, we are the colonial, our ancestors, we are the settlers, the colonizers of this land. Um, and I don't know when that ends and when you just become the people, because I mean, I come from England, where there were the Angles and the Saxons who came in, and probably more on my mother's side, and ran off people who got driven north, kind of the Scots and stuff like that. And so I come from two meldings there of things, and I mean, there's still some stuff of that, like Scotland wanting to um, get out of the United Kingdom, the kingdom that was united through force. And you know it's so it's going to be long later that this will become more academic. Now it's very real. It's within generations. We're still doing nasty shit to the actual people of this land. And so, yes, you can feel uncomfortable about being, you know, oppressors, about being colonizers, about being exploiters. Uh, it's kind of a sucky way to have a thing. I mean, it was something that for a longest time was romanticized. We were the discoverers of the new world. We were the great civilization of Northern Europe, spreading civilization throughout the world. That's how that bullshit was at one point taken. Now, not so much viewed in a positive light. Will that shift back? Will that change once again? It's interesting. It's just, but yeah, listening to two fellows talking about their particular experience in the world, and uh, there's something about being a Gentile listening in on that, you think, oh wow, that's kind of cool. But then you think, oh wow, that's not something I would, if you choose to have that, if you could, would you choose that, or would you choose to be the comfortable, unworried, robe wearing, if not oppressors, just the ones who are like, oh yeah, it's too bad for them. Gee, I hope they're okay. It's not my problem. It's like, well, no, it's everybody's problem, and we can see that happening with the world being taken over by Nazis and fascists and stuff like that. It's going to be everybody's problem, and yeah, we're just going to be squished under the foot too. That's not great. Oh boy, yeah, we're all in this together, I guess. All right, the dogs got tired, went upstairs. I've been rambling. I have. I don't know if I particularly got anywhere. Probably exposed really not great stuff about myself, but none of us are particularly that great. We all have our issues, all have our uh, neuroses and foibles and prejudice, and just want to get along in life, and without as least amount of muss and fuss as possible. And there's always some muss and fuss, and sometimes it's good to kick up some muss and fuss. And hopefully, if we enough of us kick up muss and fuss, well, maybe things wouldn't be as bad. I don't know. I'll leave it there. More videos later.